Jalen Rose.
What up, Dub?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
Together, we are Jalen Jacoby. What do?
We get a people. What? They won.
Welcome to the Jalen Jacoby leg of the tournament challenge marathon. It all continues all day. Fill out all those brackets. Jalen Rose, there is so much Dukeification of this year's tournament. This seems like all anybody talks about is Duke, 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 Duke. So what are we going to do for the A block? We're bringing on a Dookie. Welcome to the show. Our guy, Jay Williams, joining us.
The homie.
What's good? What's
Thank
good?
you so much. The Dukeification of the tournament is just too much. So just to not over-Dukeify everything, what we want to do is we want to talk about some of the star players that are not just going to be playing in this year's tournament, but also one day in the NBA. So it is now time for potential franchise-changing prospects not named Zion, RJ, or Cam. We know enough about those three players and their pro potential, so we want to ask you, Mr. Williams, about some of the other players that aren't getting that much shine. But we start with someone who's getting so much shine. I would say second to Zion, one of the most hyped players in college basketball, exploded on the scene this year, Ja Morant. What do you see from Ja in college and translating to the pros?
42-inch vertical. His hands are about 2 times the size of mine. His athleticism, some people have compared to Vince Carter-like. He's around 6'2", 6'3", and he has elite passing ability. Look, he can obviously score 40 to 50 points a night, and he's dynamic in ball screens. You guys both know this. The league is all about ball screens, right? So his ability to come off each and every ball screen and make a play, getting low to the ground, and then finish over the top of people. But he has an array of moves at the rim. He can sidestep you. He can, backstep you. He can pick his spots. His vision is off the charts. That's what makes him so different, man. He's going to be the second pick in the draft, hands down.
A terrific prospect. I agree with Jay Will. He reminds me a little bit of Dame Dollar.
Ooh.
A guy that can get me points, a guy that can get me assists. I've seen that guy be in the three-point contest as well as the dunk contest. Comes from a small school also.
I just love the fact that Jay Will just said he was going to be the second pick in the draft, hands down. That's interesting to me. I mean, there's a lot of other players out there, and we're going to get to one who I said everyone's going to play in the tournament, but this gentleman will not. This was a top 5 prospect, so hyped. But guess what? Got injured, so no one's been talking about him. This is obviously son of Manute Bol, who is injured but will be playing next year in the NBA. What do you see his future in the league?
I like it, man. He's a bigger guard, even though has the body of a power forward. And that versatility in the league is what you need, right? You've seen a lot of guys that be able to have that length, that height, that can shoot the ball from the outside, but also has traditional low post moves. I think he's a guy that can guard positions 1 through 5 because of his length and because of his versatility and lateral quickness on the perimeter. Reminds me some of Thon Maker. I actually played against Manute Bol when I was in the league. How about that?
Manute Bol was stretch 5. He was over 7 feet.
No doubt.
And he was hitting threes. So this next player, Jay Will, does something that it's kind of rare in today's game. That's play actual defense. DeAndre Hunter from Virginia, defensive player. How do you think he will translate to the NBA?
I'm curious about DeAndre Hunter. I mean, his game is he can knock down the mid-range jump shot. He can also shoot the 3. He can guard positions 1 through 5. And he actually has the strength up top. Like, he's stronger than a ball, right? His ability to make plays, make the right play. Now, this is where I always get a little bit confused, though, because does he have that next level in him? When you see players come out of UVA, guys like Joe Harris, who obviously plays for the Brooklyn Nets, guys like Malcolm Brogdon, they seem like they're situational, system-like players. But I wonder if he can take that next step and be that bona fide volume scorer that I think he has the ability to do. I just don't know if he's been breaded from his foundation to do that.
And the key to unlock his game is to shoot the NBA 3. He's shooting 47% in college. If he's able to do that, that's going to put him in a position to play quality minutes.
I just like that he plays defense. Now, some people on the East Coast that go to sleep early because they have a lot of children like myself might not be so familiar with this next player, Rui Hachimura.
Yo, Jacoby, he might be the one. He really might be the one. He has a 41-inch vertical. He is tall. He is lean. He's athletic. He's a point forward. He can put the ball down on the ground. He can shoot the ball, but he kind of plays a game similar to Giannis on the collegiate level. I'm not saying he has those go-go gadget arms where he just finishes through you, but he can bully his way to the basket, but he also has skill set. He has great footwork. He can finish around the rim, and he can shoot the ball from the outside.
I got one for you. Really boxy shoulders, almost looks really mechanical. Long arms, big hands, locks down on defense. Reminds me a lot of Kawhi Leonard for what I see from this guy.
Ooh.
In particular when he's playing against a team like Duke, when you can play him at multiple positions and put him in position to lock down and still get you offense on the other side.
Now, this next player, you always know where he is on the floor, not just because he's a threat and he's explosive and he's a scorer, but because of his hair. Coby White from North Carolina.
Just let your soul glow, man. That's what this kid does all day, every day.
Soul glow!
Jay Rose, yo, he is, like, he might be a top 3, top 4 pick. And the more you see him play on the collegiate level, he's legit 6'5", 210 pounds. Kind of reminds me a little bit old school of D. Will, Darren Williams, right? But like, he is dynamic with his dribble. Like those side steps that you see James Harden do, he does that on the collegiate level. Now, granted, I think at playing the PG position, he needs to learn how to control the game. But as far as a scoring guard, he has that bigger frame. He can get anywhere on the court when he wants.
I feel like though Carolina has had a terrific season and they're a national program that gets a lot of acclaim, as a freshman, I think his productivity has gotten overlooked and underwhelmed by a lot of casual fans. I hope he has a big NCAA tournament to validate what you just said, Jay, because I agree with you as it relates to his prospects.
Now, this next player is probably my favorite player in college basketball, and that is simply because of his first name is also the same as one of my favorite rappers. Nasir Little. Tell us about him.
You know, there's been so much hype about Nas coming out of high school, and then he goes to North Carolina, and Roy hasn't really seen him fit into the system yet as much. I mean, you've seen him evolve throughout his course at UNC, but his playing time has been somewhat limited. And I've heard scouts say, well, you know, he has to figure out the system. Is there something wrong? There is nothing wrong with Nasir Little. Like, he is 6'8". He wanted the competition of Garden Zion in that game when they first played. But I think it got a little bit of the best of him, the hype. But as far as the athletic ability, as far as the mid-range shooting, as far as, I mean, he can always improve his three-point shot. But he is a versatile wing. He can defend anybody. And he has that dog in him, Jay Rose. Like, he wants to defend the best player. He's that guy, almost like a Stanley Johnson type, where you can say, go get him for 45 minutes a night and just dog him out. And he'll take on that personal challenge.
And when you look at his numbers, they're underwhelming. For a guy that's probably going to go in the top 5, not averaging 10 points. Usually what that means is he went to a school that already had depth. A lot of times he probably initially basically chose the wrong school. But then you find your niche as the season progresses. He's another guy that can have a breakout NCAA tournament.
Well, finally, tell us a little bit about Jarrett Culver from Texas Tech.
Yo, this dude is continuing to blow people away, man. I think he has a 7'2" wingspan, so he's extremely long. And he comes from a system where they defend all the time. So his ability to defend is above par. It's incredible. But also his game, like, he can knock down shots. He's doing things off the dribble. He's not as showy as this player I'm about to say, but he kind of moves like him, Jay Rose. We both played with him a little bit. If you watch the way Jamal Crawford just moved, how silky he was, that's how Jarrett Culver moves on the floor. He's not doing those dynamic moves with the ball like JC, but he moves like him on the floor, and he'll end up with, 20, 25 points, and you'll be like, I don't even know where that came from. So he's efficient in his scoring.
He has good size. And another player, when you look at the brackets, people feel like Texas Tech has the opportunity to upset a lot of teams. It's going to be because of his progress. Let's see if he can have a dominant NCAA tournament and make a name for himself and go higher in the draft because of it.
Well, Jay Will, thank you so much for joining us and making us all smarter about these future lottery picks in the league.
Appreciate you, Jay
Most
Will.
will be playing in the tournament this week. You'll be back later on in this show. Next, Jalen Rose and I are going to go through some of our favorite tournament memories in the history of the March Madness tournament. We're keeping track of the number of brackets filled out by ESPN's Tournament Challenge. Look at those numbers come in millions on millions on millions on millions. You can join in right now. Fill out your brackets at ESPN.com/bracket or on the Tournament Challenge app.